Alhamdulillah, inshallah, before we start the khutbah, I just wanted to take a second and introduce our guest Khatib. Alhamdulillah, we have a visiting scholar visiting from Ghana, Sheikh Abdul Hamid Kishk. Alhamdulillah, he's here visiting the United States, traveling around to different states, and we were fortunate enough to catch him during his visit, and he blessed us with his presence. So he'll give the khutbah today, and inshallah tonight he will have a halaqah or a lecture entitled "The Reality of This Dunya." So alhamdulillah, inshallah, we invite everyone to attend with yourselves and your families, inshallah. Sheikh Abdul Hamid Kishk, he's been an imam for over 15 years. He's the founder of the Islah Center in Ghana, fighting extremism, working towards moderation and communication, and building community. Alhamdulillah, we're very happy to have him and blessed to have him in our community today. So inshallah, give him a warm welcome. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي فضل الإسلام على سائر الأديان وفضل أمة الإسلام على سائر الأمم وفضل محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم على الخلق أجمعين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له قيوم السماوات والأراضين بعث نبيه محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم رحمة للعالمين وأشهد أن محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم عبد الله ورسوله. إخواني في الله وأخواتي في الإسلام، أوصي نفسي وإياكم بتقوى الله عز وجل وبعدم إسيانه، فلقد قال لي ولكم تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا والعاقبة للمتقين. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we thank the Almighty Allah for blessing us with such a wonderful day. Today is the day of Jumu'ah, which is a blessed day in a blessed month. We are still in the month of Zulhijjah. We ask the Almighty Allah to preserve us and to guide us. Amen. I've been in the United States for a couple of weeks. I've gone to at least 4 or 5 states. And one thing that I've studied and learned about the Muslim community in the US anywhere I go is that it gives me a reflection of the way the Sahaba of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to live. What I'm trying to say is, when you come to Medina or you go to Mecca during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you find Umar ibn Khattab al-Qurashi with Bilal al-Habashi, with Salman al-Farisi and Suhaib al-Rumi, all on the same row in the masjid, drinking from the same cup, eating from the same bowl. But this guy is an Arab. The one sitting next to him is from Africa. The next person is an European. And the third person is from Persia. When I look into the masjid, it gives me a reflection of that society, a reflection of that community. And this is the power of Islam. Islam is the only religion in the world that at its inception, you have people from different races in there. No religion in the world has it. Maybe they get it 100 years later or 200 years later. But it's only in Islam. In the first days of Islam, you find an African being the leader of the callers of the religion. You find an European there at the forefront of societal developmental issues. You find a Persian in an Arab community also being given a post. And that is the beauty of Islam. The Almighty Allah tells us in Surah Ar-Rum, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَكُم مِّن تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ إِذَا أَنْتُمْ بَشَرٌ تَنْتَشِرُونَ. Amongst the signs of the Almighty Allah is that He created all of us from dust. And from that dust we all became human beings spread across the earth. The next two verses, Almighty Allah says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْعَالِمِينَ. Amongst the signs of the Almighty Allah is the creations of the heavens and the earth, and then the difference in our pigmentations and in our languages. The fact that we have different pigments, the fact that we have different languages is a sign from the Almighty Allah. Someone says thank you, someone says merci, someone says shukran, someone says gracias, someone says nagode, someone says auniche, someone says mieti. These are all different languages, different tongues. Almighty Allah said, وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. The differences of our tongues, the languages that we speak. Earlier I was with my elder brother and Sheikh Imam Chad, and he is an American, a white man, and then he was speaking Lahja Misriya. He is speaking the Egyptian dialect of Arabic language. And I was like, whoa, how did this happen? That is the beauty of Islam. But then there is a question that arises. We are different. We are created differently. We come from different backgrounds. Does it mean that at every point in time we must fight? Does it mean that these differences must split us? Does it mean that for the fact that I don't come from the same country as you, I don't come from the same background as you, we must always fight? I came from Detroit last night. I led Khutbah at the Islamic Center of North Detroit for the Eid Khutbah. The community is predominantly Bangladesh. And there was I, a small boy from Africa, leading a community of Bangladesh on the day of Eid. I mounted the pulpit, alhamdulillah, after Khutbah. The brothers formed a queue, all in the name of congratulating me and holding me and hugging me and kissing me on the forehead. We spent 30 to 45 minutes just for that after Khutbah Eid. What does it tell you? It tells you that in Islam, your color, your language, your social background, it is not an impediment for development. Islam has opened its doors for everybody. And that is the secret that makes Islam great. You go to Hajj and then you find the predominant Hujjaj are from Indonesia. And there is no Muslim army that going to Indonesia to make them Muslims. No. You come to West Africa, 90% of West Africans are Muslims. And the people who brought Islam to West Africa are merchants. They were not shuyukh. They didn't come for any jihad. They were just merchants who were moving about selling their trades. And the people were in awe of Islam, and then they accepted Islam. Does it mean that we should also always be at loggerheads? The Achilles heel of the Muslim community of the day is that we don't want to see eyeball to each other because of these differences. So it has made the Ummah to bleed. It has made the Ummah to cry. Muslims are not looking eyeball to fellow Muslims, all in the name of prestige, all in the name of my background, all in the name of my family background, all in the name of where I'm coming from. It has got to an extent that a Muslim will look at another Muslim and tell him, you are a kafir, you are going to Jahannam. He's made himself a self-imposed secretary to the Almighty Allah, a home secretary to the Almighty Allah, where he gives people apartments in Jahannam. 21C, 314, giving people apartments in Jahannam. It's very strange. A Muslim who shout Allahu Akbar and kill another Muslim who is also shouting Allahu Akbar. I can't get my head around it. How is it, which of the Allahu Akbars here is true? The one killing or the one being killed? We have one God. Every Muslim, no matter your sect, no matter your madhab, we believe La ilaha illallah. We accept that. We believe that. Every Muslim, no matter your aqidah, no matter your sect, we believe Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Every Muslim, no matter your sect, no matter your aqidah, we believe that this is the Quran. This Quran is our book. And there is no different variations or different versions like other people have in their religions. You pick the same book, different versions, different variations. Anybody who gets up, just produces a book. We don't have that in Islam. And then, sadly enough, we also have one qibla where all of us look towards. Ahya wa amwat. Whether you are alive or you are dead, as a Muslim, you face that qibla. Irrespective of whether you agree with Saudi policy or not. Saudi Arabia is not an issue for you. It's Mecca. Mecca is what is in all our hearts. We have the same qibla, we have the same Rasul, we have the same Rabb, we have the same Kitab, but painfully, we are the most disunited and disjointed Ummah on the surface of the earth. Why? Because Muslims, we've left behind the Quran and the Sunnah, and we are following our traditions, our whims, our caprices. And that is why the Ummah is always in pain. But when I came to America, a fire was kindled in me, seeing Muslims from different backgrounds, from different countries, from different tribes, from different ethnicities, sitting in the same mosque, eating from the same bowl, drinking from the same cup, hugging each other with smile and beaming faces. It reminds me of the community of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where you have Bilal al-Habashi as the leader of the Mu'adhineen. He is the one who determines when it is time for prayer. And he's a black man from Africa, a former slave. You find Khalid ibn al-Walid, who though accepted Islam later, is given a general, a position as the army of the general of the army. And then you find Zayd ibn Haritha, a former slave, an adopted son of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even though adoption was later cancelled, he's also given a position to lead an army. Later, his son Usama ibn Zayd is also given a position to lead. So, brothers and sisters in Islam, this religion is the glue that brings us together. And that is our hope for survival. And that is what makes us one community, one ummah. وَأَنَّ هَذِهِ أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدًا. We are one nation. That's what makes us strong. And astonishingly enough, that's what makes America great. The differences of the people you have in this country. Yesterday, I was boarding the flight from Detroit, and there were 3 ladies in front of me, and from all indications, they are Chinese, but they're holding American passports. I said, whoa, these are Chinese Americans. At the airport, I met a sister from her uniform. She works with the airport. She is an employee of the airport, and she was in hijab. I don't know her from anywhere. She saw me in line. She said, "Salam alaikum, Sheikh." I said, "Wa alaikum assalam."
And then she went and I went my way. What it tells me is that as Muslims, there is this natural connection between us that we don't need to sever, that we don't need to cut, that we don't need to put away. It is very, very important. It is the key to our survival. It is the key to our greatness. It is the key for the Ummah to regain its lost glory. We ruled the known world for 1,000 years, from the mountains of Siberia in the north to the Indian Ocean in the south, from the mountains of Mongolia in the east to the doors of Paris in the west. We led the golden age of technology and science. Al-Khwarizmi was not an Arab. Imam Bukhari is not an Arab. Amongst the Khutbah Sitta, it's only Imam Muslim who was an Arab. So the religion is not a property of the Arabs. Neither is it a property of anybody. It belongs to humanity. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The Prophet Muhammad was sent to everybody, to the humans, to the jinns, to the animals, to everybody. That is why this religion encompasses everybody, and everybody is within the ranks. We need to sit down as an ummah and go back to our glory days and see why we were able to lead the known world, why we were able to be masters of the world, why we were able to direct everything that goes on in the world. But now everything is being directed upon us at a time where the world is developing. We are still being relegated at the background. The most unstable places on earth are all Muslim nations. We had time to have Eid in open places. Some of our brothers in some countries could not go out for it. They couldn't. They wanted to, but no, they can't. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
The Muslim nation is one ummah, is one body. And then there is the need for us to protect this body and then give it life. Our relationships with each other should be that of respect, and that of love, and that of understanding, and that of tolerance, and that of accommodation. Abdullah ibn Mubarak said something. He said, if you smell alcohol on the beard of your brother, assume that someone else spilled alcohol on him. Don't assume he drank it. When you smell alcohol on the beard of your brother, this is an indication that he has gone to drink. But Abdullah Mubarak is saying, assume that someone else spilled that alcohol on his beard. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Don't pick up your pen and start passing judgments on people without concrete evidence. I believe this is a wake-up call to myself and my fellow students. The cancer of the Muslim Ummah today is half-baked scholars who are parading themselves as muftis on social media, giving fatwas left, right, and center, sending communities to Jahannam straightforward. He just looked at people and he said, all of you are in Jahannam. Wow. And when there is a difference of opinion on a mas'ala in fiqh, someone gives himself the opportunity to call other people kuffar because of a difference on whether I should be said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim openly or hide Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in salah. Because I don't agree with you on that, I am a kafir because of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm from West Africa, which is predominantly Maliki. The Khutbah al-Eid I had in Detroit, the Salat al-Eid, I was told the brothers there are from the Hanafi school of thought. So what happens? Do I lead the Maliki and confuse the rest of the congregations who might not know that, might not have read about that? Should I maintain my pride of Maliki and then lead a group of Ahnaf and then confuse the congregation and then bring chaos and confusion in the congregation? So my uncle and host in Detroit said, what is going to happen? I said, let me go back to the books and read the Ahnaf way. I read the Ahnaf way for an hour or two before read, because I've never done it before. I read for an hour or two and I realized I could do it. I even performed it in the room all alone to practice before I came out, and then I led the people. The people were already told, the leaders of the community were already told, I'm from the Maliki school of thought. So before Eid, they should give the people information that there might be a difference in the way we pray. So when I came, they said, can you tell them? I said, no, don't tell them anything. We are going to do it the Hanafi way. And then the Ummah lives in peace. But then if because of the differences of opinion in fiqh, then we must fight each other, call each other names. Big scholars of this Ummah who have lived 50, 60 years of their lives doing da'wah, because they issue a fatwa that apparently might be wrong, small kids like myself pick out our pens and say, all these people du'at ila nar. People who have spent 50, 60 years, 70 years of their lives doing da'wah, small boys just get up and then they say, these people are going to Jahannam. When the kuffar of Makkah didn't know how to deal with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they sent Abu al-Walid Utbah ibn Rabi'ah to go and have a debate with the Prophet. Utbah ibn Rabi'ah came and then he said, Ya Muhammad, you've been with us in Makkah for a while, we've known you to be a good boy. But of late you've changed totally. You're splitting the community. We don't know what you want. If it is money that you want, we'll open Fort Knox and give you all the gold in there. And then if it is a woman that you want, that you've seen, even if she's somebody else's wife, we'll force him to divorce her and then we'll give her to you. And then if it is the kingship that you want, we'll open the White House and make you president. And then, excuse me, if you are sick up here too, we'll have the best psychiatric hospitals in Washington, D.C., and then we'll send you there. This is pure insult. The Prophet said, Awma farakta ya Abul Walid. You know, you Arabs tell us, if you want to respect a man, call him by his kunya. This man came insulting, but the Prophet called him Abul Walid. He didn't call him by his first name, Utbah. He called him Abul Walid, oh father of Walid. Have you done? He said, I've done. Then the Prophet recited for him Surah Fussilat, from the beginning till the page of Inna alladhina qalu rabbuna Allah thumma istaqamu, till the end of that page. After the Prophet was done, the Prophet told him, I'm done, you can do whatever you want. Abu Walid left a confused man. He came confident that he was going to defeat the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As he went back to where the kuffar were sitting, Abu Jahl looked at him from afar and then he said, we've lost the debate. They said, what happened? He said, look at his face. He left here a confident man. He's coming back as if a chicken has been beaten by the rain. Abu Walid came and then they asked him, what is the result of the debate? You look like you've been defeated. He said, yes. He said, listen to me, and if there's any consequence, I take the blame. He said, leave the man alone and whatever he's doing. In yadhar ala al-Arab, فَمُلْكُهُ مُلْكُكُمْ وَعِزُّهُ عِزُّكُمْ. If he's able to defeat the Arabs, then his power and then his might and his kingdom will be yours too. But then if the Arabs defeat him, then they've done a job for you that you are willing to do. But don't touch the man. What I'm trying to say is Abu Walid did not accept Islam, but he went back defending Islam. So if your da'wah will make Islam repulsive to other people, then please stop doing da'wah. You're not helping Islam. If your message to Islam will make even Muslims feel insecure in Islam, then you are not doing Islam any justice. If your call to Islam will make other people feel insignificant and inferior in Islam, then please change your Islam. If when you come to mosque, you make other people feel they are downgraded in the masjid, then please change your Islam. That is not Islam. If you feel by whatever virtue that you have, other people are worthless, then please change your mindset. That is not Islam. Islam is seductive to people. Let our character seduce non-Muslims. Let them be in awe of our characters. When they are in awe of our characters, they accept Islam. But then if our characters are repulsive to even our fellow Muslims, then my brother, that is not Iman. That is not Iman. If your character is repulsive to Muslims, that is not Iman. Your character should be accommodative to both Muslims and non-Muslims. Finally, before we pray Khutbah, before we pray Salah, there is this hadith of the Prophet Muhammad. He sent out a group of scouts, and then they came back. They've captured one man called Thumama to Ibn Usad. Thumama was a very deadly guy, killing Muslims. So when they captured him, they brought him and they tied him in the masjid. And they told the Prophet Muhammad, we've got Thumama. The Prophet came and then he told them, untie Thumama. They untied him, he said, give him food. The guys were like, this is Thumama. This guy has been killing us. And then you're telling us to give him food? He said, yes, give him food. Thumama ate. After eating, the Prophet Muhammad told him, Ma khatbuka ya Thumama. What do you want? He said, Ya Muhammad, in taqtul zadani. If you kill me. But know that if you kill me, I have people behind me who will come and then they will revenge. And then if you let me go too, Alhamdulillah, thank you for letting me go. But as for accepting Islam, it is not a condition on the table. Forget about it. Two things, either kill me or let me go. They did that for 3 days in the masjid of the Prophet Muhammad. 3 days. On the third day, he repeated the same thing, and the Prophet Muhammad told them, Atliqu Thumama, let him go, free him. This guy left, and after some few hours, he came back. When he came back, he entered the masjid. He sat in front of the Prophet Muhammad and he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu annaka Rasulullah. So the Sahaba were like, what kind of arrogance is this? You were with us all the time, you're supposed to accept Islam. And then you didn't accept Islam. And now that you've gone and then you've come back, what's the meaning? He said, if I had accepted Islam in custody, people would think because I don't want to die, that is why I accepted Islam. But I live with you people in the masjid for 3 days, your character, your attitudes, your demeanor was the thing that entered my heart. And I really realized that this is the true religion, even from the first day. But I won't accept Islam because I'm under custody, and people will think that it's because I'm under custody. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. سبحانك وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن